the whole nightmare started. The day I found a bright orange envelope taped to the front door of my off-grid cabin, my peaceful weekend hideout, sitting a full mile outside the nearest subdivision. I opened it thinking it was some kind of joke, only to find a shock waiting inside. An HOA fine statement totaling $30,000 for unauthorized structure modifications, non-approved, exterior colors, and my personal favorite, violating community quiet hour policy. Community? What community? I wasn't part of any HOA, had no contract with them, and my land wasn't even bordering their lines. So I marched down to their office to clear up what I assumed was a clerical error. But when I walked in, the entire board sat there with smug smiles like they were doing me a favor. Their president, Karen, of course, slid a folder across the table and said, "Your cabin affects our community's overall aesthetic. That gives us jurisdiction." I laughed, and she frowned like I'd insulted her ancestors. She went on a power trip monologue about how the HOA bylaws gave them extended influence over all visible properties from the subdivision hilltop, and my cabin, with its natural wood siding, apparently clashed with their theme. So I calmly replied, "Your bylaws don't apply to land you don't own." But Karen puffed up like a blowfish and ended the meeting by declaring the fines official and enforceable. That's when I stopped being polite. I drove straight home, pulled out my land records, tax receipts, and the county zoning maps, and sent everything to my attorney, who practically choked laughing. "They can't enforce a dime," he said. But that wasn't enough for me. See, Karen and her board didn't just issue me a fake fine. They recorded it as a lien attempt with the county clerk. That crossed into criminal territory. Unauthorized liens, fraudulent claims, attempted extortion. The whole HOA board had basically served themselves on a silver legal platter. So my attorney filed a formal complaint with the county, then with the state HOA regulatory authority, and finally drafted a lawsuit. But before we filed, I did something even better. I sent the board a certified letter with the full legal breakdown of their violations and a simple line at the end. "You have 72 hours to retract the $30K, fine and remove the fraudulent lien, or court will decide your fate." Predictably, they ignored it. Karen even emailed me personally saying, "You will comply with HOA standards. Consider this your final warning." That email ended up being Exhibit A. 3 days later, the sheriff's department served the entire board at their monthly meeting. Neighbors said the look on Karen's face was priceless, like someone pulled the plug on her sense of superiority. The charges included filing false instruments, overreach of authority, and harassment. The state regulator added its own investigation, and suddenly the board that once bragged about controlling paint colors couldn't even control their panic.